you can't say that online.
The fuck about what the feds gonna look at this?
I guess, yeah. We have like 2 viewers that are gonna report your ass. So whatever, it don't really matter.
What the fuck they gonna do? Knock on my door and say stop using crack streams?
Hey, if you say that about your UFC, Dana White's gonna be knocking at your door.
Dana White gonna have to fight me, and he might whoop my ass, but he gonna have to fight me.
Speaking of Dana White, okay. So the announcement of the Conor fight is happening. It's happening in July 10th, I think. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, July 10th.
July 10th. That's gonna be the international fight week. So if you're not a big fan of UFC, you're kind of casual. International Fight Week is basically the biggest week in UFC. They try to stack that card with like crazy fights. So
like all the best fighters fighting each other pretty much. Yeah,
so that fight card will be always the sickest card of the year, or that at least they try to be. And I think that card shaping is gonna be good. Whether Conor's gonna win or Dustin, I don't know, but I think the question every fan who are casual of the UFC always ask this question when Conor fight is he done if he loses? So for somebody who doesn't watch the UFC as much, but you do.
Not as much as like you or like the avid. I'm like a little above casual maybe.
Yeah, you're above.
I would still say I'm kind of a casual fan, but
yeah, you're a little bit above casual. You're not like the type of guy who watch all the interviews and the press conference and like the highlights and shit like or the analysis or deep dive like me. But you know, so it's like are you willing to say if he loses this, like he should retire? Which is the mainstream question to ask her.
If Conor loses this, he just lost to Dustin Poirier. He basically knocked him out or fucked his leg up to where he couldn't fight. Then did he make him submit?
No, he TKO'd him.
He TKO'd him. Okay, so yeah, I remember that. He lost to Khabib. He beat Cowboy. He lost to didn't he lose to somebody else?
He lost to Nate, but then won in the rematch.
Didn't he lose to somebody else recently though?
No, the only person he lost to in his UFC career is Nate, Khabib, and Dustin.
I'll give him one more. If he loses this fight, I'll give him one more.
One more after this fight?
As a casual fan, yeah. If he loses this fight and then go into the next fight and he lose,
right,
might as well hang it up. You already a legend. You did so much for the UFC that a lot of people haven't done. Like the UFC was slowly starting to get mainstream, but if it wasn't for Conor, low key,
they wouldn't be here.
They wouldn't where the UFC is at right now, they would not be there yet. They would be getting there slowly because boxing is dying, but Conor like accelerated it times 100.
Yeah, they wouldn't. I can argue that they wouldn't have not got the ESPN deal.
Never without Conor. Hell no.
Like ESPN is not gonna attract. It's not gonna be in partnership with you if you don't have like a fighter
someone that you can sell.
Right.
You gotta have somebody to sell, and that's what Conor is.
Yeah. Coming into this fight, I think it's a little bit too soon. I didn't think it was gonna be July, honestly. I think it was gonna. I kind of wanted it to be like maybe September or something. But usually September is never really like a month where they like have like big cards. So I get it why July is. But just kind of seeing Conor, I guess if you don't want to do the timeline, today's April 5th, right?
Yeah.
Today's April 5th. The fight is July 10th. So he basically has 3 months, right? Based on his IG, he's not really training that much. He's kind of going in and out, probably a little workout, a little rolling. I have confidence that Conor will grow and will learn from his past fight.
I think he's been humbled.
Yeah, I think he's been humble. And I think another thing is that he learned that he can't half-ass the process because he's so confident in himself. Like, at the end of the day,
exactly,
you're going to lose if you don't put it your all. And he was thinking about boxing too much. And I think that fucks up his whole game plan was he came in trying to be a boxer.
But here's the thing with me. I think that, like, people say that Conor is always cocky or whatever. He got humbled by Dustin Poirier. He did. But I think Conor got humbled when he lost to Khabib. When he lost to Khabib, he was never like, I mean, he's still Conor McGregor, but he was never like, just like, he's changed. He was never just a super asshole like how he used to be. He wasn't just out here just always talking shit.
All right.
He was more focused on winning, and that's when he came back and beat whoever he beat. Huh?
He beat
Yeah,
Cowboy.
he came back and beat the fuck out of Cowboy. And when he lost to Khabib, I wasn't sure if he was gonna beat Cowboy, even though I know Cowboy was at the end of his career or whatever.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, and he beat the dog shit out of him. It wasn't even close.
I definitely think Conor doesn't need to be the same Conor during the Khabib lead up, but I definitely think he can't be. He's just one of those fighters who he probably won't fight at his best if he's coming in with so much respect for the fighter. I think he's the guy who gets a little kicked off, and
He needs that motivation.
yeah, he needs a little shit talking. I don't necessarily think he needs a shit talk to Dustin leading up to the next fight, but I think he does need to chill out on the respecting and the laughing and the handshaking and the kind of
I get it, he more-
buddies and shit like that.
Yeah, he more humble. He could be disrespectful how he was with Khabib in a lot of fights before then, and just be like, oh yeah, fuck this. Who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck is this guy? He could do all that shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's cool that he got a kid now. He probably see life different. So I mean, yeah, but he needs to find a way to motivate himself.
Right.
To bring that dog that he used to have when he was fucking in Ireland, fucking fighting and fucking being broke, fucking having to
Cashing
fight in
welfare
gyms.
checks,
Yeah,
yeah.
doing cash welfare
I
checks
think-
and all the shit he had to do. He came from nothing.
I compare him to Mayweather in a way where they like approach leading up to a fight. They talk a lot of shit, and Mayweather kept that shit throughout his career. I don't think he ever had a phase where people were like, "Oh, he changed," you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like he kept the shit talking, and I feel like Conor needs to like kind of keep that same mentality throughout his fighting career because it's like don't fix what ain't broken. I guess you got in some shit, you went to jail a little bit, and you had a bunch of shit. You don't need to be such a nice guy. Like at the end of the day, it's the fight game. I gotta come in, take your head off. You know, like you don't need to fucking almost destroy like throw dollies at a bus and do all that shit, go to jail. And you don't need to talk so much shit, but I feel like just a little bit of edge.
There's nothing wrong with being competitive.
Yeah.
Talking a little shit. I get what you're saying. You don't need to be crazy, but oh my lord. By the way, Gonzaga is getting ran right now. 13-4.
Oh, okay.
I looked at the score.
Oh shit, the game's going on.
It just started.
Oh, okay.
Like
Man, okay.
But still, like with Conor, like it's nothing wrong with talking shit. I get like he wants to be more humble. He don't want to seem like a pompous asshole or whatever. But it's nothing wrong with talking a little shit, being a little cocky, being confident in yourself.
Yeah.
That confidence is what got him here.
Yeah.
Is what got him out of Ireland and got him into the UFC to where he could change not only his life but his family's life.
So do you think he's gonna win the rematch?
I think he is.
You think he is?
Yeah, without doubt. If he lose, I'll be hurt because I'm a Conor fan, but I won't be shocked because Dustin Poirier is not a slouch. Like, it's one thing I do know, he's not a slouch. So I won't be shocked, but I think Conor got this.
I wish I could say the same. I'm kind of torn just because the third fight could end up very much like the second fight if Dustin just land 3 to 5 calf kicks and that's it.
Yeah, but the third fight can also end up like the first fight if Conor decides to be back on his bullshit.
Yes, but Dustin is way better than the first fight, Dustin. And
That's also true.
And Conor, I feel like he hasn't progressed as much. And I wouldn't say he digressed either.
He hasn't fell off. I thought you were gonna say he fell off, and I was gonna say he hasn't fell off, but he hasn't progressed because he went from. You gotta think about it, he had a kid. What is his son like 2 now, 3 now?
Kids?
His son's like 2 or 3 now, right?
Yeah.
He just recently had a kid. Like the same thing happened. Well, I'm not gonna compare myself to Conor, but when I had my daughter, like a lot of stuff in my life when it came just to anything I'm doing slowed down, and it all really focused on my kid and just my family. So I could see why he hasn't progressed a little more. Like he was starting a family, like he was getting married, doing all this shit. He was focused on his whiskey, the proper 12 and all that.
Speaking of the proper 12, I forgot to mention this, but I think it's kind of a positive. He sold actually all the stake of
when I seen that, that's why I was like, he back on his bullshit.
I think he knows now that like, hey, if I'm gonna be in the fight game, I want to be a champion again. I gotta cut off some of these endeavors. I can't be doing so much shit when I should be training. So him selling off.
Sorry to interrupt you, but he could do it. But he has to if he's gonna be in the fight, like I'm not mad that he sold Proper 12. There's no wrong. He made so much money off of it, so it don't even matter.
He's still the face of the brand, though.
Yeah,
He's still
the
gonna
face of the
promote it.
brand.
He's just not gonna be like running it. You know.
But he can still do these endeavors. But what you're saying is right. But if he's gonna be in the fight game, then he needs, when he's in the fight game and not focusing on his side ventures.
Right.
His focus in the fight game needs to be 100%. He can't be in the fight game and still be trying to promote whiskey and all this other stuff when you got a fight coming up. You need to be focused on training for that fight and that fight. The whiskey and all that stuff will come after you get the win, because you're going to get more exposure once you get that win anyways.
Yeah.